Look, check this out real quick. I appreciate you for clicking the video and checking this out. Make sure you subscribe, you comment, and you like. And hit that bell so you can see when I post new stuff. Also, if you a brand and you got a product or merchandise that you want to market, get in contact with me and you can get it on the platform here. Anything that I'm wearing, you can change it. If you don't like it, send me something, get it on the platform. So do that for me. To get in contact with me for that, check my link tree. Also go to my bio. You can tap in with me there. And also you can go to my social media and send me a direct message. Peace. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to another episode, man. Podcast Perspectives, man. I'm in here with my man KJ on Podcast Perspectives. A podcast where people come on, tell your perspective on life and what you got going on and what you could bring to the world. I got my main man KJ with me, man.
How y'all doing, man? I just want to first give a special shout out to my dog T, for inviting me on this segment, and more future segments ahead of us, man. Because like I was explaining to him like a while back, I used to always just like, and we're gonna get into depth of who I am stuff, but a while back in the midst of dream chasing, I used to always be like praying for a team, like hoping, like dang, because I ain't think that I could actually become massively successful myself. I always heard from many of my mentors and many people that was massively successful. They always explained how they needed a team. And one interesting thing about, about T, how he presented it, this opportunity with me was so genuine, and to the point where like, the first time we met up, like we had an interview, boom, shot it. And in the midst of the interview, like I got a lot of people who, who I conversate with in terms of like telling them about my dreams. But T, you were the first one to explain to me like the art of really owning the NBA team and how simple it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though none of us have done it yet, but he's so intelligent on the finance side of things to where it's like, bro, this dream really serious. So, you know what I'm saying? That's what sparked my mind to be like, man, this, you know what I'm saying? I gotta go home in my hand,
Hell yeah, man. First and foremost, I appreciate you for coming on. And so people could know, what me and KJ partnered up to do is we like basically added a segment to the podcast where it's just a life segment once a month where we just gonna record, just talk life, talk wisdom on experiences and things we've been through to share to other people and perspectives and how we view things. So this right here is episode 1 of that. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate everybody who do tune in. Make sure you comment, subscribe, like, follow me on my social in the bio below. Also follow KJ. That's gonna be in below in the bio. Let's get ready to get this episode 1 going. So hell yeah. So KJ, man, how you doing, man? What's up, man? First and foremost, man.
Man, I'm doing good. A while back, like I was a bit struggling financially. Not saying I'm up financially, but you always feel good when you got a little money in your pocket, and
you better than you was before, yeah.
Yeah, I'm better than I was before.
Yeah.
I'm actually just living my life according to like certain information that I learned from many of my mentors. Like the reason why I just spoke on the financial situation when TX how I was doing it is basically because like a while back in the midst of like playing basketball, I was hooping with this older guy named Mr. Keith. And Mr. Keith got one of the highest credit scores in America. I think it's like 870 or something. Don't quote me on it. But he got one of the highest credit scores in America. He was basically asking me how much money do I got saved up and all that, just to make sure, you know what I'm saying, for emergency fund. And I only had like $600 saved up. More of the story. I didn't end up like doubling that, but I always think back on the quote that helped me stay focused on, the art of keeping money in my pocket. Was learning because as knowledgeable as I am about a lot of stuff, financially, I'm not that knowledgeable about certain stuff. So that's why I shout out to God for blessing me, with my little pot of tea for adding financial advice to my life as well. But Mr. I forgot his name. But when Mr. Keith, my bad, T. When Mr. Keith basically told me, he said, I never got in trouble for making the right decision. And as he said that, I started to take that approach, and my life just began to turn around financially. I don't pass up a building in you know in any city or wherever I'm at without thinking like, damn, man, that parking lot empty. Who owned that building? Like, how did they own it?
Yeah.
Damn, I want to get a franchise in this, you know. So that's just how I've been teaching, trying to, you know, run my money out, man.
Long story short, you've been good.
Yeah, I've been good. Yeah.
Nah, you good. So for the people who don't know you in the audience, you know what I'm saying? How do you define KJ? Who is KJ to you? When somebody hear LMAO KJ, who is that?
Oh man, you know, KJ is me. I just want to let people know first and foremost that probably look up to me and aspire to be similar to, you know, do certain things that I do and dream as big as I do. I just want to let y'all know that all like my situation is basically nothing without God, and I'm basically from New Orleans, Louisiana. I moved all around the world in the midst of after Katrina happened, and I ended up in Baton Rouge. That's where my life, you know, what I'm saying, that's where I began to learn a lot of stuff at. Of course, I was back and forth from New Orleans to, from Baton Rouge to New Orleans in the midst of summers, as you know, as growing up and stuff. But
What was
my
that
life,
process like?
huh?
What was that
Oh
process
man.
like? 2000, once Katrina hit, what was you when Katrina hit? How run me through that story?
All my people was going to a hotel. I believe it was a Sheraton. I forgot what hotel it was. I just know it got a big old fluke on side of the hotel. And
Okay.
in the midst of that, I remember all my family, like everybody, it's like we own the whole 6th Street. So all of my family, you know, everybody from 6th Street packed up and we went to the hotel.
What
And in
6th
the
Street
midst
at?
of
In
that,
New Orleans? What part of New Orleans?
yeah, 6th Street, yeah, 6th and Danielle is uptown. That's
Okay.
where I'm from. So
Okay.
all my family members ended up packing up, and we went to the hotel. And in the midst of the hotel, that's my first time I seen like live situations. Like I'm like, yo, this is my first time seeing this many people at one place at one time. Like I'm thinking like I ain't thinking nothing of it. I'm thinking like as soon as this rain go away, we can all go home. Man, I seen the water just kept rising.
So
And
y'all was there
unfortunately,
when the storm hit? Y'all was
oh
in
yeah,
NO?
yeah, it was in the water.
So you watched the water hit and you seeing it
See,
rise.
I
So
was in
what
the
you was
hotel
doing?
looking out. I was in the hotel looking out the window. I'm a kid at the time. I'm not thinking nothing of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just so excited that me and all my cousins are around each other. So we just run around the hotel,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the messed up part about that situation is when the owner of the hotel decided to leave, everybody had to go. Because why you can't leave people in your, you know, while you're not there. Everybody
Right.
just decided to
So it was a
go.
hotel or a motel?
It was a hotel.
So when the owner left, y'all had to leave?
Yeah,
Just
when the
nobody
owner
was
left,
running
we
it
had
for
to
him?
just I believe we basically just got put out, you know, not bashing the hotel owner. We basically
Okay.
got put out.
Okay.
And in the midst of that, I had to see all of my elders, like my older cousins and mamas and aunties and stuff. They all had to walk through the water while us as kids, you know, we got in the back of the truck and we ended up driving to a shelter or something. It was all on the news and all, but we ended up driving to a shelter. We came to a shelter in Baton Rouge.
Okay.
And after that, we stayed out here for like a week. Then we moved, me, my mom, and my little sister, we moved to Atlanta with my little sister daddy and his
And how
people.
old you was
And
when that
after
happened?
that, probably around 9 to 10.
Okay. And how long y'all was out
And
here?
that,
How long y'all was in Atlanta for?
we was in Atlanta for like 8, 9 months. Now I remember going to school out there and all. Then after that, we moved to Mississippi. And that's when I started noticing stuff that like, bro, I started really realizing like fear. I'm like, yo, like I ain't supposed like in my mind I'm thinking like you are so tough. Like in my mind I'm thinking like I ain't supposed to be scared of nothing. Like as I walked to school in Mississippi, like certain stuff that like played like I was scared of certain stuff. Like and I was like, it's not supposed to be like this. So I was thinking like, how can I end up changing this? And thank God I had my cousin, you know what I'm saying, my cousin Josh. So I believe that, you know what I'm saying, I looked at him as like one of my protectors in that because nobody ain't ever like, you know, play with my cousin or nothing. So
scared like what? Like situations, people? Like what you mean when you was a
yeah.
kid?
Like I was scared to walk home from school. Like I was
Like
scared
somebody
of
gonna do you something.
people. I've been so intelligent with like real life situations to where I knew like I wasn't aware of knowing how God will just cover you if you just pray about it.
Right.
I ain't know that I mean, I used to always think that somebody could easily accuse you of something, and then even if you ain't do it, you could still get the blame for it. Like one
Like you're
time they
going to
said
jail.
I took somebody's shoestring on their shoe or something, and I had a field of people following me till I got to my Grumman Street in Mississippi, and they ended up jumping me or something. But none of that happened. That was just the feel of stuff that playing in my mind. But how I stayed sane, it was just something about like wanting to learn stuff. T, man, tell me
Where that
why,
come from?
bro. I don't know. T, I'm, you know what I'm saying.
You
I
have a
don't know.
family member in your
Like,
family like that you grew up around who always trying to learn or always reading books or something?
nah, they always did say that my mom was so smart, but I grew up. Rest in peace, my dad too. Rest in peace, my mom too. But I grew up believing that my daddy was a little. You know what I'm saying? He was a little off it. So that's how I thought I was gonna be. You know what I'm saying? I thought like, dang, I'm not supposed to be smart. So what I wanted to do was, I was still a class clown. What I basically wanted to do was just like to go ask tutoring people, like, can you help me teach me how to read? And then once she started ended up teaching me how to read, we ended up moving from Mississippi and ended up moving in Baton Rouge. And you
Now,
know
when
what I'm
that
saying?
was?
I and I was like around the same age.
Oh, okay, because 8-9 months you said.
Yeah,
Right.
8 or 9.
Okay.
And after that, we've been down here ever since. But more of the story, my life ended up changing around 2015, man. Got my
Okay.
heart broke, and
First
my
heartbreak.
yeah, my feelings went completely to the ground. Like I didn't know what to do, and the only person I could call on was God. So I had to reflect back on certain stuff that I was good at, like winning the best sense of humor award in high school. I always wanted to be an actor. Sometimes then I wanted to play basketball, but I knew the basketball was over for me. You know what I'm saying? So after I graduated, I'm thinking like, what can I do? Like I ain't, you know what I'm saying? No, the girl I thought I was gonna be with, she gone. I don't know what else to do now.
Right.
So after that ended up happening, man, I just started praying. I'm like, God, man, if you help me, like just help me find myself. Like, cause I ain't used to like myself nothing. Man, I started looking in the mirror every day, just noticing like cool stuff about myself. And I noticed that I couldn't be mad because I was made this way for a reason. So I can't change and I ain't gonna go do nothing weird and
So what? So
go change nothing.
let's stop right there then. So for people who do deal with like looking at themselves and accepting what they see in the mirror, like what led you to that point to be able to say like, damn, I like that about myself. Was it something you saw? Was it something you read?
Because my family was always so strict on saying like, hey, God don't make no mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm registering that in my mind of believing that God don't make no mistakes and registering like, well, maybe I don't look that bad. You know what I'm saying? It eventually clicked in my mind to the point where I started asking like, all right, boom, now I like myself. God, can you help me? Let me know what I'm here for. Like I just kept going to him. I'm like, God, let me know what I'm here for. Man, I started falling back in love with writing. And I always told people in school that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna write a book. But I ain't never know what it was gonna be for though. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I always told them like I was gonna write a book. I was gonna write a book. I ended up writing a biography for it and everything. I never wrote no essays. I mean, no pages about the book. Not just telling
Okay.
everybody I was gonna write a book. And then the more I wrote, the more I ended up feeling better about the breakup. So I'm like, yo, this is cool. Like, what
Okay.
if I'm finna try to send this to people and if they if they like it, I know I'm on to something. I know other people could learn from this situation. Man, I started doing that. After that, my bad to be all over the place, but
You good, man.
after that, man, I disciplined myself so much to what even when I got off work, I never, since I found my right gift, I never went a day without or went to sleep or got on the game without writing a page.
Mm-hmm.
I never, you know what I'm saying? I never did it. So now I was tapping it. Now that I'm tapping to the gift, I'm like, I started dreaming so big because I learned from Wayne. You know, Wayne said anything can happen because a broke man is optimist. I was broke at the moment. I was working at McAllister's on Segan.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I'm saying? I was fresh from a breakup. So I'm thinking, like, what am I going, you know what I'm saying? What am I going to do? Man, I just started dreaming big. Anything can happen because a broke man is optimist. All right, bet. I'm taking heed to that. Took heed to that. I said, I'm finna be an author now. When I wrote the book, in the process of it coming out, I used to always pray. I used to be like, God, man, if you take me away from the job, I'll show you how serious I can take being an author. Because I thought all I needed was that one book, and I would be on top of the world. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So in the midst of writing a book, and praying God to take me away from the situation, He did exactly that. And all I could do is just be simply, thankful. And I just been taking advantage of the situation since. And to people out there, man, I got so many cool little layers and inspiring situations in my story. And I just say that to sum it up, like, but in the midst of chasing this dream, and even after praying to God, asking Him to help me find my gift, I done lost my mama and my daddy, like in the midst of chasing. And I lost the phone that had who knows how many books I had in it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like an iPhone 5.
Take me through that. So what was that process like when you get to that point where you're dealing with losing family members and trying to write a book? Like how do you
Well,
wrap your mind around it?
Well, fortunately, when I wrote my first 2 books, my mama and my dad was still alive. You know what I'm saying? So, but I always tell people like I respect my mama
Bring
so
me back
much.
there though. Bring me back there. So you wrote the first 2 books before the passing of your mom and your dad. So how did you end up publishing and saying like I might
Oh,
just drop that first
T.
book? And when was it?
Now, prayer. Like once stuff started connecting for me, I'd be like, all right, boom, I'm gonna completely take advantage of it. But it was a lady named Miss Regina Barlow, and she was basically she had wrote a book. She go to my church, First Main Baptist Church. She wrote a book, and my plan was to send my book to her so she could publish it. But she said one day, she said, "Okay, you can just publish it on Amazon." So that's what I did, T. But I don't think I ever asked Miss Regina how to get my book, because my book been out for a while. I just didn't never know how to get it into actual book format. It was just on like the audio version of it, and like the Audible book. So I was always curious enough to know how to do that, and I went my first book without it being I'm saying nothing. Then I end up.
Seemed like it wasn't edited how you wanted it to be.
It wasn't edited how I wanted it to be. Neither did I know how to put it in the actual format to be in book form, because you could write on there all day. It got to actually be in book form, and you need Adobe Craft and all that to do that. And I wasn't knowledgeable of that.
So you run into a lady at church, find out she got a book, and then you say, that's my example right there. I'm going to drop a book. You grab a book, I'm dropping a book. You said that before. Once you see somebody else could do it, you like, I'm doing it.
Exactly. So, and at that point, I'm geeked up. I'm telling everybody that I work with, I'm like, yo, man, I'm finna go big, man. My book finna drop. I'm finna take that thing to the top. Like I'm finna just go big.
So what happened on that release date?
Book been out for months, man. I still ain't get my book in no book form, which was so unfortunate, because it was just the only way people could buy it if they read it online or read it on their phone or something. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I was just so stressed out about that. Yeah, I want to see the actual book. You know what I'm saying? I ain't want to tell people I did on the phone. So, man, one day my mom was doing this lady hair, and shout out my mom, rest in peace. She used to brag on me so much. My mom used to brag on me so much when it came to my books and stuff. Yeah, she was proud of me, and she used to just be like, "Well, Kay, he done wrote a book, but it ain't in book form yet." And one day a lady who she was doing, she was like, "Oh, blah blah blah. I know a lady named Miss Celeste, and Miss Celeste Payne. I've been going to her ever since to get my book in actual book form." And what's so crazy about the first book, after I wrote it, when I got it back in actual book form, I read it. I'm like, oh no, I could do way better than this.
Because so that was a motivation for book 2.
Huh?
That was the motivation for
book 2. And I started writing book 2 on that same day where I finished reading the first book. Because my plan was to get my book to big. And let me tell you how good God is. T. My plan was to get my book to big shine, right? Because I told you, in the midst of, I think I told you this on our old interview, in the midst of like trying to become massively successful, in the midst of trying to get my book out and stuff, I used to listen to a lot of Big Sean music, because he was dropping an album called Dark Sky Paradise. And in the midst of that, I used to just be watching his motivational videos where he just tell you stuff. And then I remember hearing that Wayne verse of Wayne saying anything can happen because a broke man is an optimist. So my thing was to end up getting my book published, the first one, getting it to Big Sean, and when people be like, how are you gonna get your book to Big Sean? I went back into that broke man is the optimist. I said, all right, so this is what I'm gonna do. I thought of where Big Sean from. Big Sean from Detroit, right? So at the time, Greg Monroe, who played basketball, he was the center for Detroit. I said, I'm gonna get my book to Greg Monroe, because Greg Monroe and his mama went to our church. Said, I'm gonna get my book to Greg Monroe. Greg Monroe gonna get the book to his mama. And I'm gonna get a book to Greg Monroe mom. Greg Monroe mom gonna give it to Big Sean. She gonna give it to Greg, and Greg gonna give it to Big Sean. Okay. And that was my plan. Because and it unfortunately it ain't I don't think he got past my pastor office, unfortunately. But that was just on my fault, because man, I'm glad that it didn't happen that way, because if I would have made it at that time, I would have been so complacent, because I was successful after one book. After my first book I dropped, I'm successful. And my whole plan was to get signed to Big Sean, was so he could teach me how to drop the motivational videos that he do. That's why I do podcasts now. You know what I'm saying? So my plan was to get signed. My plan was to get signed to somebody to teach me something that God had already had in me. I just needed to keep creating content.
Help bring it out to you.
Yeah.
Have somebody just bring it out. So it was a question I was about to ask you. Just for people who don't know, KJ got a million quotes in his head. Where do you find the time to listen to and save all these quotes in your mind?
I think it comes from repetition, and I try not to neglect. Like because I don't believe that I could possibly get this opportunity again. If I'm trying to be this successful, if I'm trying to be this massively successful, what I look like wasting opportunities to like learn something. Like one thing I learned from my mentor Jerome, he said, one book could save you 5 years if you read it. And basically what he's saying, one book that you read could save you 5 years of struggling if you just read it. And that would turn me to the real knowledge junkie that I believe I am. Because I forgot to mention in the midst of the story, the reason I fell back in love with reading, because I'll end up watching the YouTube advertisement and thank God that I didn't skip it. How much will bet the average person, they see an advertisement pop up on their YouTube channel right now, where they video on 5 seconds to skip it. Man, tell me why I just one day just let that interview play, and in the midst of it almost going off or something, I heard Ty Lopez, he said, yeah. And another thing, one thing I learned from my mentor, Warren Buffett, he said, the more you learn, the more you earn. And when he said it, I'm like, one of the richest men in the world said this, the more you learn, the more you earn. I used to always believe that you had to be born to be smart. I ain't know you could learn stuff to become smart. Like it was just so crazy to me. So that's what I took advantage of again.
Right.
And my life ain't been the same since, because I've never been scared to put the work in for my dream, because to whom much is given, much is required. So that's why I got so much information stored up. And I believe it's part of my gift.
And just to interrupt you on that, like that's what it take. It always be like that one moment that really just change your perspective on stuff. Like, because I had that same situation. It wasn't really, I don't think it was an ad, but E.T. Eric Thomas. Man, that was a guy. Man, that was a guy I looked up to, man. Because when I moved out here to Atlanta, this was like 2015, the year after I graduated. I came out here, went through some crazy tough time, having to. People don't even know this, but 2015, man, I was down on my knuckles. I'm talking about like everything was going. I had to go to a church, ask for money to get bills paid. Like it was tough. 2015. It's 2021, and I'm way past that now, so I can talk about it openly. But man, 2015, tough. So I ended up not running into, but somehow I ran into a motivational speech written by him on YouTube, because I always be watching YouTube, and it always be like this random video when you're related, and you just like, man, let me see what that is. And he had this quote. He had this. It wasn't even a quote, man. It was a story, and this changed my life forever, because I always been a hardworking person. People who know me already know that. But when I heard this story he broke down about, what was it? It was talking about a guru that was trying to help this guy who wanted to chase his dreams. So the guru told the guy, you know that story. The guru told the guy, like, meet me at the beach at such and such time. And the guy like, meet you at the beach. gonna meet you at the beach for? Like, meet me at the beach. So, in the story go, like, he went to the beach. The guy tell him, come out here in the water up to his shin. Then like, come out here deeper. Now the water up to his hip. So then the guy, I forgot how it go, but some kind of way, the guy pushed his head in the water. And so
Like,
when the guy pushes his head in the water, he can't breathe. So all he doing is fighting for air. And so when he bring the guy up and he telling him like, you know, the way to be successful is to want it as bad as you want to breathe. And then
yeah,
I'm like, want it as bad as you want to breathe. And then he broke it every time he broke it down. Like when the guy head was in the water, he wasn't thinking about nothing. He wasn't thinking about no video game. He wasn't thinking about the basketball game. He wasn't thinking about where I'm trying to go tonight. All he thought about was I need to breathe. And he said when
yeah.
you want it as bad as you want to breathe, then you will succeed.
When you wanna breathe, when you wanna succeed as bad as you wanna breathe, then you'll be
Right,
successful. I
man.
remember hearing that too, man. And what's so crazy, T, bro, I got this in my old phone, T. I actually met Eric Thomas before, bro.
Oh yeah.
Before I even, because he had like an event in New Orleans. T, there was like a year or two before I graduated. I remember the whole church, like the church youth went. We went and
Okay.
I ended up meeting ET. And I didn't even know that was him until I realized, like, yo, thank years back. I'm like, that was ET that we met.
What
Like,
kind of what
you know
kind of
what I'm
event
saying?
was that? Was that a speaking engagement? What was that?
Speaking engagement, he had his books and stuff up there. And that was before I even thought about being an author. That was so crazy, man.
Mm. Yeah, E.T. a monster, man. After I heard that from him, bro, that shit like it changed my whole perspective. I was just
Perspective.
like, cause I'm like, damn, man, I'm getting it. I'm trying to figure this shit out, but then I'm like, nah, you don't want it that bad, after that point, I just started listening to all his motivational speech. I downloaded everything he had on my Spotify. Like I'm just listening and learning everything he talking about, cause he also broke down from that same like quote and stuff, like just saying like, you gotta basically chase it and be so determined into like this is all I'm focused on. Like I'm not worried about nothing else. So once
Yeah.
I was able to get that in my brain, bro, like that was it. Like I just kept going from that.
And T, like to capitalize on what you just said too, and you remember, I don't want that to go over people's head. You remember how you said you was listening to that every day?
Man,
This is
every
something that I
day.
want people to understand, because if I go a day without my without my motivational medicine, that's what I call
Mm-hmm.
it, the motivational medicine, because it really heals your soul. Like hearing people, like I learned this from my mentor Jerome. He said, food isn't the only thing that nourishes your soul. Words nourishes your soul as well. You know what I'm saying? So I say that to say, like,
That's why words hurt.
uh, I learned from Zig Ziglar, and this is how I stay motivated to do this every day. T, and let me know that even though I'm this smart, I still gotta, you know what I'm saying, work every single day on my craft. Is because I learned from
Mm-hmm.
Zig Ziglar. He basically said, people say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. And
Mm-hmm.
as I thought about that, I'm like, dang, all right, you can smell good after you take a shower, after you take a bath, but that's only gonna last for one
Yeah,
day.
after a few days, you're gonna
That's
be
just like
funky.
motivation. Till you can be so geeked to do something, you do it for one day, next day you just,
That's
dang.
people problem. I think what it be, man, people like they do something good that one time and they feel like it's gonna last me the rest of my life. Like, nah,
Man,
it gotta, cause man, it's been what is 2021? Man, I've been listening to motivational speeches, mindset, meditations and stuff since like 2016.
yeah,
Only up until now, I still listen to stuff like that, but only up until this point here in my life, I don't have to listen to it as much because it's like it's in my head so deep.
register.
I hear it without even listening to it. And even if I ever hear something motivational pop up, I gotta turn my head and see what that is. So like
Exactly.
that's a gem for people too. What you saying? Like it ain't about just doing it one time and being like this it. People feel like they could just. I mean, shit, you ain't gonna go to grocery shopping one time and eat for the rest of your life. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
you
saying?
gotta
Like you got to keep it going. You got to keep building on top of stuff. You can't read one book and then be the best author. You know what I'm saying? You can't shoot one shot and be LeBron James, Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? You can't buy one house and then be the richest man in the world. You know what I'm saying? It's once in a million. Maybe something like that could happen, but it's least likely. You gotta be
in reality,
repetition.
it's meant, and you should want to work, because I believe in another thing I learned from, I think Les Brown said, he said, the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. So the more challenging your situation is and the more heartbreaks you go through in the midst of trying to get to, because that's going to happen. That's life. I just want to let everybody know that. And I don't care if you a kid, a grown up, a teenager, this or that, an old person, man, ain't nobody getting out this life pain free. You gonna have to go through something. So I feel like, with one of my obligations is, what I'm saying, according to my purpose, is just to give others valuable information in the midst of them going through those tough situations. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not going to be easy. It's simple, but it's not, it's not going to be easy. You got to constantly put the work in. You got to make yourself literally uncomfortable in the midst of trying to get whatever it is that you want out of this lifetime, because, man, you're going to have some, especially if you're on an entrepreneur road and trying to hustle on your own, man, bro, life going.
It's going. What's that, man? A beautiful talk about quotes. I'll get this one from you in quotes, but man, a quote by Mike Tyson. It say everybody got a plan till you get hit in the mouth. You get hit in the mouth, he be like, hold up. You ain't supposed to do that to me. But to build on what you said about the piece you said before about struggle and pain, like people got to understand that like pain come with that grind. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people, this what they do. They try to run from the pain and be like, I'm gonna get to success by doing it a certain way where I ain't gotta deal with that. But it's like this was gonna happen. You're gonna run into that roadblock, and once you run into that roadblock, you're gonna be like, I ain't doing that, and you're gonna change directions. But then once you start building momentum on something else, that roadblock gonna come again. So now you playing cat and mouse with the roadblock, but you ain't getting where you want to get to.
And I want to say this too, T. One thing I learned, I seen this on Twitter a while back. That's crazy how stuff is still in my memory. But I remember seeing a quote that said,
The damn encyclopedia.
Damn, what that quote said, T? The quote basically said, lessons in life will be repeated until they are learned. So when I heard that, and I heard that like 2014 or something, T, lessons in life will be repeated until they are learned. That let me know, I can't get out of this life. You can't do nothing easy. I think you gotta actually go through. I learned it from Big Sean, daddy too. This dude said, life is a feeling process. And as he said it, I'm like, yo, we actually got to experience this shit, because as I'm growing up as a kid, T, we had a lot of family get-togethers, right? And I used to always hear this song that say, no pain, no gain, no pain. I used to be so scared of that song, because how am I ever going to get successful if I'm scared to go through pain, if I'm scared to go through, traumatic events, or or whatnot in the midst of making.
The hurdles you got to get over.
And man, shit, God showed me better than he could tell me. And bro, like I said, like you lose two parents in the midst of chasing your dreams, man. The shit is unfathomable, T. I remember
How you keep going? Help us out. How you keep going, man?
Bro, I used to couldn't even think of how would I go about losing, because that's every kid feeling. We could keep it 100. Like, I don't care what your relationship.
The most important people in the world.
You know what I'm saying? I used to be so scared of the potential of losing my mama, but I noticed on those days when I was really, really scared, I used to just go to sleep, just listening to T.D. Jakes, and I wake up and my spirit just feels so cool, man. Like I was like, I go check on if she doing well, you know what I'm saying, or she not doing well, but it's just, I'm settled in my mind to know that, all right, Kate, man, you're going to be good. All you got to do is just keep focusing on your dreams. And if a lot of y'all out there take that same approach whenever y'all deal with a tough situation, man, it'll help y'all along the way, because you can't cheat the process. Lessons in life will be repeated until they're learned. And once you learn it, get ready for the next one to jump at you. Like, obstacle, you know what I'm saying? You got to, it's going to keep coming. Like,
I'm hearing you. I hear them damn kids downstairs. But nah. So with that being said though, like, so what's the day-to-day like after that? 'Cause I see you saying you preparing yourself for something. Like, how do you continue going despite knowing that this traumatic event has happened? Like, what is that battle that you had to face? Because you got to there's a door you got to walk through when you get to that point. You know what I'm saying? Walk us through how does KJ say like it doesn't matter, I gotta keep going?
Well, it simply goes to me reflecting back on many of the quotes that I previously mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
But one I feel as if that stand out to me is knowing that I gotta do something because,
Mm-hmm.
bro, bro, when my mom, you know what I'm saying, when my mom was alive, we was around a lot of family members and stuff, but everybody be when I started chasing my dreams, nobody would really, and I'm saying this too. I want my people to look at me. Nobody really even believed in me, but nobody but my mama. But everybody was like, "Shell, why you don't help that boy? Why you don't let that boy go get no job to help you with them bills?" My mom was so cool. Her response to them was, hey, whether it was true or not, my mom used to be like, "Girl, they ain't finna go up on my rent. I'm finna let can't keep doing this thing. He ain't bothering nobody." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I feel like I owe that to my mama, dog, to like let us see how far I can actually go, because it used to be times where I ain't even want to be here no more, bro. I only spoke on this situation once, like, right? But and it was an Ajane podcast. Shout out Ajane. But I was basically saying how like when I actually attempted, you know what I'm saying, I wanted to be out of here, right? So what happened? Like I believe that since I couldn't be with the girl that I wanted to be with at the time, I was thinking like, shoot, I ain't got nothing else to live for. I might as well up out of here. So I ended up taking medicine, and I said like, if I wake back up, I took a large dose of it, but I said like, if I wake back up,
you meant to be here.
If I wake back up, I'm gonna try something else. And I always seen like they had bleach pills to clean the toilet and stuff. I said I was gonna take one of them if I woke back up, but by the grace of God, I woke back up and the police were surrounded by me. And my mom and my sister was sitting on the sofa crying, basically saying how, like, you know what I'm saying, explaining to the police, you know, what happened and stuff. So I ended up going to a mental facility in Kenner, Louisiana, I think. And man, after that situation, I just noticed how like, yo, this life stuff is really serious, because in the midst of that, my grandma ended up explaining to me, she was like, hey, you know, God forgive everything but still murder. You know, so as she said that, that's when I really buckled down on life. And I told myself, like, all right, no matter what happens, you gotta just go through this life thing till God ready for you to go. You can't take yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that's been my mindset about certain stuff. But the reason that I hustle so hard day in and day out is simply because I want more out of life, and I just want to show my mama that her belief in me was, you know what I'm saying, was really serious, because my mom was the only one believing me. Imagine saying that to your mom, saying that like, girl, leave him alone. He can't bother nobody. He just in that writing. He in that writing book.
Yeah.
And sometimes people, in the midst of people chasing their dreams, especially teenagers and stuff, I hear a lot of parents tell them that, you know, you need a job, you need this, you need that. Man, all you need is your God-given gift. No disrespect to jobs, no disrespect to going to school, bro. Once you tap into that gift, man, it's gonna change your life. I wouldn't even be here right now talking to you, bro, had it not been for God allowing me to tap into my gift. That's what's been saving me. Bro, I was on Father's Day playing Uno, not to start no pity party or nothing, but on Father's, I'm just trying to explain to people how mentally strong I am from simplifying.
Bring us to it. It's gonna help somebody.
Bro, on Father's Day, what that was this yearly? On Father's Day, in the midst of playing Uno, I get a phone call, and my daddy died in jail. So I'm thinking like, yo, what is like? But I had to reflect back on like, all right, Kate, right? You know, all this come with the story. It's more of a cool story to tell. And I feel like I always believe in that, you know, God never put more on me than he could hold. So that's just be my approach whenever I go through any tough situation with life. So I feel like, you know, I'll be able to get through it. And last thing I want to speak on pertaining to the subject is one thing I learned from T.D. Jakes. He said, it's not enough to believe in God if you don't believe in yourself. And he's basically saying, if he put a situation on you, you got to show God how much if he put it on you, obviously he believed it that you overcome it. So you gotta let it shine through. You know what I'm saying?
They get the point. So what it sounds like to me is, was your pops was in your life as much as your mom?
Yeah, phone calls and stuff from like with the jail situation. But
How long was he in jail for in your life? Was he ever out during your
my
during?
dad has been locked up since Katrina, but I never
Mm,
I never been that type of kid to be like, well, man, my daddy, man, like, man, F my daddy, man. I ain't
right.
tripping off it, man. Forget off. I ain't never been no kid like that because me and my grandma on my daddy's side was still close, tight knitted like this. All my family members on that side, you know what I'm saying, we were still close. But I always tell people this story on how cool, like my daddy could have only been in my life in this situation. I still been appreciative because I still take this, you know what I'm saying, approach to this day. Man, I think it was Easter. And my daddy, he bought me this one Rockaway was popping. He bought me a red Rockaway outfit, the
Yeah, I
shorts
remember
and
them days.
you know what I'm saying? And he bought me a
That
pair of,
Louisiana shit.
yeah, he bought me a pair of high top G Nikes. And he said, Kate, he used to lick his finger like that and like clean stuff out my eyes and stuff. He like,
Yeah.
Kate, don't get this outfit dirty, bro. Just don't get this outfit dirty. And in the midst of that whole day, I ain't want to play with nobody. I was just so fascinated that my daddy said, don't get this outfit dirty. So I ain't finna play with y'all. I ain't finna do nothing, man. I stayed fresh the whole day until my daddy came and got me later on that day. And I was just saying, look, Dad, I was, you know what I'm saying? I'm still
Wanted to
clean.
make
You
him
know what
proud.
I'm saying? He was just so proud of me. So I ended up speaking at this funeral too, man. And I did that strictly out of me feeling a form of guilt if I had not said nothing. Because they kept asking. They said, anybody else want to say anything?
Kept
Man, I'm
going.
like, man, I'm just sitting there like, man, boy, you better get up and say nothing. You better get up and say something. You know what I'm saying? And when I got up and spoke, everybody, you know what I'm saying, they loved it.
Yeah. So what it sounds like to me is what keep you going every day, because this is what people need to know. Like you gotta have something that come. I had wrote a quote on this on one of my Instagram stories, but you gotta have something that keep you going and get you out of the bed. That's something other than yourself. Because if you're doing it
What's
for
your
yourself,
why? Why
exactly.
you
If you're
do what
doing
you
it for
do?
yourself, it's easy to take. I got this from Eric Thomas. When you're doing it for yourself, it's easy to not do something because you're doing it for you. It's easy to tell yourself like, yeah, not today. But if you got another reason, your mom, your pops, kids, significant others, you like, nah, I can't let them down because they depending on me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it sounds like your mom and your dad till this day is your biggest motivation that's keeping you going.
yeah. I can honestly say that. You know what I'm saying? That's true, man.
Well, hell yeah. So with everything you learn, for people out there, what does KJ define as a successful day? As what do you define success as? What is success?
Um, my bad. This is just me, T. I quote a
Nah,
lot of
man.
stuff. I learned from Big Sean. He
Mm,
said, "I realize success is how you feel, not what you get. That's what true
mm-hmm,
success is." You know what I'm
mm-hmm,
saying? That's the approach I take. So I had lots of like a good amount of money. I didn't had, you know what I'm saying? Like got the pretty girlfriend and stuff. So it's not that like that what I define as success. Like it's all about how I feel and me making sure that like I'm constantly progressing because I discovered this too, like right, like the differences, and I almost sound all over the place, but like I feel like the differences between stress and depression. I'm gonna just break the stress part down. But depression is a spirit that can be overcame once you find the correct words of wisdom to help you deal with. And my understanding of stress, it simply comes from not knowing what to do. So how do I stop staying stressed out throughout the day? I write a list of goals
mm-hmm.
and I work on the T. I don't care if it's the simplest stuff. Take the trash out, do laundry, do this, do that. I be able to check this stuff off the goal, and as I go through the day, as I'm checking stuff off the list, that make me happy.
Feel
You know what I'm
completed.
saying? And that's what I feel like a success as because I'm progressing. Like I put on that, read 2 chapters a day, meditate, watch later videos on YouTube or something. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I feel like success is. It's based off how I feel. But man,
I'm
excuse
following
me.
it. I like that.
I feel like I'm enjoying the process for sure. Like in the midst of becoming success. Like, and what you feel is if it helps you stay steady throughout the day, T, in the midst of how do you react through when life throw you certain situations throughout the day and you still
Man,
got to stay focused.
for me, man, what keep me going is my kids, I just had 2 kids, man, 2019 and 2020. So that's what keep me going. Just knowing that I'm the role model for them. Like at the end of the day, they somebody that I look at that where they look at me and say like, I'ma do as what you doing, not as what you saying. So I gotta be the example. And me knowing that they always at my side and doing stuff based off of what I'm doing. So what I do is I could be reading a book downstairs, and what they'll do is they trying to get a book and they like,
Bro,
let me read something. You know what I'm saying? So
that
that's
made
what
me
keep me
reflect.
going.
That made me reflect back on 2 quotes. One of them that says, what that damn quote say? He said, "Children will be what they see."
Mm-hmm.
And another one is one thing I learned from T.D. Jakes. T.D. Jakes, he said, "Stop fussing at your kids. They are a reflection of you." So
Mm-hmm.
when you think about that, bro, it's so crazy to even fathom, because the certain stuff that we was getting fussed at for is what we see our people doing, you know what I'm saying, in our family. How
And
you gonna
then and
fuss
then
at
another thing I don't like is like people who just whoop your kids. You got people out
Yeah,
here who wouldn't whoop somebody in the real world, but you out here whooping your kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of times people whoop their kids for the wrong reasons. When it's a lot of times it's them just they taking opportunities. Like with kids, one thing that keep them so open and so happy is they don't let nothing sit up here. They could look you in your face and be like, "Man, I just want to slap that boy." He gonna slap you, cause he like I'm letting whatever out
shame.
that's on my head. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah,
I'm not gonna whoop my kids. We rarely even touch our kids, but like all we do is help guide them and their emotions and how they feel about stuff, and then identify what they doing. If they crying, we're not gonna be like, "Stop all that crying. You don't need to be crying." Like we help them identify with the emotion, like what's wrong, like why are you
yeah,
crying? What do you want? You okay?
and
Okay, well if you want to cry and you upset, you mad, cause we'll tell our kid, my son King and Royal, like I could tell King like, oh what's wrong? I'm mad. Or my youngest, he'll just like they have their sounds or they words that identify with their emotions. So when I ask them that stuff, like you know what I'm saying, just helping them identify with it. And if it's something that emotion that's so strong that you can't explain it to me, then you go sit over there and you let it just bother you for now until you can come back and tell me what's wrong. So if you
yeah,
mad, you don't make everybody else mad and interrupt everybody else because you upset. If you upset, you be upset with you, and then you come and talk to people when you ready. You know what I'm saying? So just
mm,
helping them just know, you know what I'm saying, just helping kids be able to be kids and identify with themselves and not making them just shut stuff down because they're a kid. I'm not gonna tell you not to cry and not identify with your emotion. I'm not gonna whoop you because I don't want you to be an opportunist. Like they opportunists, they emotional and they learning. So I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do and you learn from me. I'm gonna help guide you and I'm gonna let you just do your thing. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Now I want to say this too, T, and it's so fascinating about kids as well, is their curiosity about certain stuff, man. I want to say that, and I also want to say to compliment on what you said. Something I learned from Steve Harvey, man. He said there's no blueprint on how to raise your kids. So
Mhm.
that make all the sense in the world, because some people might have mixed emotions about that because they probably believe in spare the rod, smaller child, and you know what I'm saying, like different phrases and stuff like that. But to get back on like the kids' curiosity, man, that's so fascinating. Like I love getting around kids and they get to ask them buku questions. That's how grown ups supposed to be. We supposed to keep a childish curiosity in our brain. Like we supposed to like ask. I learned it from my mentor Jim Rohn. Bro, that's how you be successful in the real business world. You ain't finna go around these massively successful people just acting like you know everything. Man, you
Right.
supposed to be a sponge around these people.
Yeah.
Going around there and be like, yo, how you got that? Like, yo, all right, so if I do that, like, what would your approach be? You know what I'm saying? That's you supposed
Mhm.
to have a childish curiosity to continue to ask questions just like a kid. Man, bro, kids are so fascinating when they ask you certain questions. You be like, where the hell did this come from?
Because
I
they
thought you
know,
already
because they
supposed
not
to know
somebody
this.
who like they not the type of people who conditioned to be like this is how you gotta do stuff. They like nah. Hey KJ, you made a left, but why you ain't make a right?
Yeah,
They ain't gonna
and
be
that's
like you
it.
about to just make me go that way, and we just like nah. But why we can't go over there? You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like kids are man, you gotta nurture it, and you gotta let them be them, and you just
and
gotta be
bro,
an
they
example.
really, really are the future. Like I never understood that. That's why I'm so interactive with where I stay at, my community, where I stay at. just helping the kids, just teaching them like little cool stuff. Like when they be playing football, I be out there being a quarterback and stuff. They be like, bro, if I throw one on the ball and somebody else intercept the ball, they be like, bro, you showing favoritism, bro. You threw that to him on purpose. You threw that to him on purpose. And as I'm explaining to them, all right, if I throw a pick, everybody just blame it on me. Don't fuss with each other. Like, and I be explaining that to them because somebody that gets shut down out there in terms of like somebody gets strapped up, like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Not letting nobody catch the ball. And they'll be want to fight, but I be like, no, this is the art of competing. Like, you ain't gotta fight.
How first question I want to ask you, man, is how do you handle, you know what I'm saying, your day-to-day grind? Like how do you balance your days? I know you talked about like having a list, checking it off. Like
Yeah.
other than that, like how do you do your lock-ins or your balances, or do you like to multitask? Like how do you go
But
through the day?
it simply comes from like I'm kind of like weird with it, but it simply comes from me watching the interview of somebody that I look up to, seeing how they how they speak about certain situations, and it allows me to look at it like, yo, just like if they can do it, I can do it. And also like what helped me lock in is me watching like competitiveness about certain stuff. I don't know what it is about competing, man. It's just in our nature as a man. But just seeing competitiveness, it allows me to be like, dang, bro, if I'm not working on my craft, somebody get better than me. And I know it's not all about that, but I just want to stay on top of my game so I don't have no mess ups. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like, I don't want years later down my career be like, damn, only if I would work harder on that day. Only if I, you know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to live like that. So I learned one thing I learned from Future, the artist, he said, you got to hustle every day because you never know what day that's going to be that day that you succeed. So that's what get me in a lock in mode. I'm a huge fan of quotes, man. And if people wonder why I keep using so many quotes, I learned from a guy named Winston Churchill. He said, it is a good thing for an uneducated man to read a book of quotations. And so that's what I base my life around, the number of quotes. And that's basically what get me in lock mode, though, T. And listen to cool music, you know what I'm saying? I really follow something that I learned from a billionaire named Sheldon Adelson. You know, he said, just do things in life the way other people don't do them. So that's what I want to do. I don't know nobody that look like me that talking about what they want to own the NBA team. I really believe that, dog. Like, I really believe that KJ, me, I could end up on the NBA team with anybody else. You just got to put the work in for this shit. Like, it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got no chill days, especially with my girl now. You know, shout out Ali. Bro, you know how certain chill.
Shout out Ali.
Yeah. You know how certain chill, you're like, well, we should just chill today. Man, ain't none of that all day. Man up, man down, man, get up. She do it, and this shit is so aggravating. She talking about, get up. And I be like, hey, come on. You know what I'm saying? But it just helping me get more out of my element to get up and hustle because
you comfortable being uncomfortable.
I'm explaining to her all this successful shit that I want. She looking at me, how you expect to get all this if you laying down just chilling all day? So that's another reason, man. Get your woman in your life, man. Oh, bro, they change it.
Oh yeah, trust me, I know.
You know what I'm saying? They change it in such a great way too.
All right, so to close it out, man, what I'm gonna go with is you know what I'm saying, give the audience, you know what I'm saying, some life advice that they could take with them and run with.
Chasing side of doing things, shout out my dog me. When you on this dream chasing side of doing things, at least you got a possibility that you could possibly end up being successful. If you ain't doing nothing with your life, you wasting the creation. You know what I'm saying? So that's my 2 pieces of advice. God never created a soul without endowing it with a gift. And the easiest way to find your gift, I want to give my audience, mentee audience, all the answers like to this shit. Like, let y'all know, like, we ain't excluding y'all. If you still breathing, you got a gift. That means God ain't through with you yet.
Mm-hmm.
Tap into your gift. It'll change your life, man. And it's so cool being on this side because we could blow up any day. You know what I'm saying? The last piece of advice, too. Treat people how y'all won't be treated. Man, bro, I can't believe I'm neck myself for that. T, bro, Man, bro, I live by this. That's why this life shit so peaceful for me, bro. I live by that T. I learned
There you
that from my
go.
grandma, Danny Jackson. This chick said, Kate, she used to always point that finger at me. She said, Kate, boy, you better treat people how you want to be treated. As a kid, now this shit registered me, man. And it been protecting me by the grace of God. I don't need to walk around with no weapon, no knife, no this, no that, because I stay conscious of knowing that as long as I continue to treat people, I won't be treated. Life gonna keep being this cool for me. So that's another piece of advice that I want to give to people. Find your gift, tap into your gift by realizing that it's the easiest thing that you do with the least amount of effort. And treat people how you want to be treated. We got more episodes on the way.
Alright, that's the end to that episode, man, with me and KJ. My camera ended up dying, so that's why I'm recording this snippet right here. But it's many more videos like that to come. That's a segment that me and KJ added to the podcast that we're gonna drop once a month. What's up, fat boy? And thank you. Bye. Okay. So that's the episode that we're gonna drop once a month, life segment, just about advice, motivation, experience that we had. We might end up bringing people on. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you check out the links in the description. Also, make sure you go to the bio. Check us out, see what we got going on, follow, and tune in for more. Appreciate y'all.